Everybody was shocked when Ricky Pearsall got drafted in the first round to the San Francisco 49ers. When it happened, everybody was speculating as to why. Was Brandon Ayuk getting traded? Was Debo getting traded? What was going on? Especially we were hearing all kinds of rumors. And then when the pick happened, we were hearing more rumors about Debo. Prior to the draft, there was a lot of rumors about Brandon Ayuk. Right now, everybody's on the team. Everybody's trying to speculate of Ricky Pearsall's role with the team. We're going to take a look at Kyle Shanahan to see what he has to say about Ricky Pearsall. We're going to do that real quick. We're also going to talk about Ricky Pearsall. We're going to look at the advanced metrics. But before you do that, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're talking about these rookies nonstop every single day. And soon in rookie camp, I'll have the clips from behind the scenes for you guys. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're going to be looking at Kyle Shanahan right now to see what he has to say about Ricky Pearsall.
He just plays the position real well. I mean, whether he was outside, inside, either receiver, all three of the positions. He can separate down the field. He can separate underneath. Got really good hands. Extremely smart. Very well developed. You can tell he's, I guess I'd call it a gym rat or something because you can just see he's worked on his routes. Put in a lot of hours because you can see it on tape. And there's really nothing he can't do. And you can fit in whatever role based off the other guys. Yeah, he's one of the, I mean, just there's not one play that you see him turn something down. Yeah. I mean, he's going to go over the middle and do everything he can to catch that ball and not worry about anything else. When he's on the sidelines, he's not taking the easy way out. He makes guys tackle him. He's not looking for a place to fall. And when he doesn't have the ball, he plays just as hard when the ball's not in his hands. I see him as both. I mean, he's got the 40 to still get on top of people on the outside, where that starts a little bit. I mean, just got to have a threat of that to scare guys in a go route. And if you can do that, you can separate on the other routes. But he can get out of his break very well. He's not huge, but he's still got a good body to where he can handle it on any side or any length of a corner. So, I mean, all of our receivers who play outside, they also play inside. So we kind of want a guy who can do it all. That he makes guys tackle him. You watch so many guys who they get what's there and they go down, and sometimes people are cool with that and stuff, and sometimes a guy just isn't like that, and you kind of want to not have to ask guys to fight for every yard. You like to, you'd rather have to pull them back. And when you watch a guy who just fights for everything he can do and makes people tackle him, regardless of your make-miss ability, just with your hands and how good they are so you can transition and get upfield. With fearlessness, you can be good after the catch. But then you watch some of his cutting ability, which makes him a punt return option and things like that. And knowing that he does have the ability to make some guys miss and create edges with his hands, with the kind of his mindset of being fearless, you feel he's going to be good after the catch. And we got some pretty good guys to be in that group in that way.
Kyle Shanahan has a type at wide receiver. Think about Debo. Think about Brandon Ayuk. Think about what he likes about those guys. He likes aggressive, assertive wide receivers at the catch point, after the catch. He loves yards after the catch. He likes guys who have that my ball mentality. What did he just say there in that press conference? That is why he drafted Ricky Pearsall over the other wide receivers, because he has a type. Fearless, aggressive wide receivers who has that my ball mentality. That's what Ricky Pearsall has. He also loves wide receivers with quick, subtle route running. That's what Ricky Pearsall does as well. He loves the aggressive ball skills. He likes aggressive wide receivers. Christian McCaffrey's there in the passing game. He's aggressive after the catch. That is why he likes Ricky Pearsall. On top of Ricky Pearsall being a good wide receiver, creating separation, being good on the route tree and everything else, it's the assertiveness. That is his type. That is why he likes Ricky Pearsall. But we're looking at this depth chart and wondering why, because they got a lot of dudes on this team. But Ricky Pearsall comes in with good athleticism, a good burst score, a good 40-yard dash time, 189 pounds, 6'1", good size, so we can win on the slot, we can win outside. But you got Debo, you got Ayuk, they're there. They're going to soak up a lot of targets. On top of that, you got Christian McCaffrey soaking up a lot of targets. Could you have waited for a wide receiver? Maybe. But he has a type. He has a type, and Ricky Pearsall, to him, fits that mold on top of everything else, because this is a very deep wide receiver class. So at the top or in the first round of that class, you got to ask yourself, why did they pick X wide receiver when you could catch one at a discount here? You're also hearing the rumors about Debo and Brandon Ayuk. We'll talk about that here later. But you look at Ricky Pearsall's production, and you hear a lot of complaints about that. He wasn't overly productive from the counting stat standpoint, but it was a very fascinating career. It all points to that 2020 season. I have the receiving yardage down there from Arizona State below. Of course, only 86 yards in 4 games. They only played 4 games that season. Rachaad White, 151 yards, led the team in receiving. The next year, he owned a 22.92% market share of teams' passing production and only 580 receiving yards to that year. We transfer to Florida. We get there. We instantly lead the team in receiving. We instantly lead the team in receiving with 661 yards. That's with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. We had 5 touchdowns, and we have a 22.71% market share. So technically, from a market share standpoint, we break out with 2 different collegiate programs. At age 20 was his original breakout age. So it's okay. It's an okay breakout age. It's not great. It's not awesome, but it's okay. It's good enough. So you're there. And then this year's final year. What people don't like is he spent so much time at the college level. But remember that 2020 season was just 4 games long. And he just had 661 yards to his name at Florida, while owning 22% share of the passing production with Anthony Richardson there. So you got to come back and prove yourself. So it's a weird story when you look at all this and people hype on why the production wasn't there. You really got to look at everything at a full context here. His final year at Florida, a 31% market share, not hitting 1,000 yards, but a 31% market share of the team's passing production is very good. It's tops in college football. It's up there. It's like the top 10% of wide receivers. It's up there. That's a good market share. Although it's at age 22 instead of like age 20. But again, that 2020 season put a wrinkle in things. That and being at Arizona State, he has not had a quarterback in his career to throw over 3,000 passing yards. He did not have that. He played with Jaden Daniels at Arizona State, but there's a reason why Jaden Daniels transferred. So I'm not trying to sell you on Ricky Pearsall. I'm kind of trying to sell you on the fit to him to the 49ers and why it kind of makes sense for the 49ers standpoint. But Ricky Pearsall, I find fascinating when you really comb through the numbers and think about the context of his production, because a lot of people hate his production. They hate that he was a 22-year-old college player hitting a 31% market share. I get it, he was an older wide receiver, but we get to the Senior Bowl, the story behind that, he balls out. He makes plays. One of the best wide receivers at the Senior Bowl. Creating separation, assertive. That's all you heard about was how great Ricky Pearsall was at the Senior Bowl. That's when the buzz started to happen. Everybody was talking him up. Going back here to the Combine, we hit at the Combine. 4.41 40-yard dash. So we have a magnificent end to his college season, 31% market share. We light it up at the Senior Bowl. We light it up at the Combine. Just about as good as you can do it. Look at those numbers. Look at that graph. We did well. We get drafted in the first round. You look at the 49ers last year, how they spread the ball around. 1,300 yards to Ayuk, over 1,000 yards to Kittle. Debo, 871. Again, Debo doesn't usually play a full season due to injuries. But one thing you want to look at here is the air yards. 576 air yards to Debo, 6.6 average depth of target. So he does not command deep balls. Brandon Ayuk does, 14.3 ADOT. Thing about that, when you want another wide receiver getting a lot of targets in the passing game, say 60, 70 right now off the rip, and maybe later a little bit more, getting an ADOT 9, 10, 11, 12 to help stretch the field, to help the offense with Brandon Ayuk, this is where it fits. This is where it fits. And then you got Debo doing his thing underneath. And then on top of that, you're not getting a full season out of all these pass catchers. You're just not. Someone's going to get banged up. That's just the nature of the beast. You're not getting a full season with all 4 of these guys on the field every single game. You need that depth. You need that talent. And you need to move forward with this, because on top of that, Debo Samuel's contract is wonky. He's not going to be there forever. He's an aging wide receiver. The stock's lowering. There's trade rumors already around him. Maybe we got him for a few more years, maybe not. But they are making plans because they do not know what's going to happen. Football happens, life happens. That's just how it is. Same with Brandon Ayuk. He's a free agent in 2025. That's happening soon. They got to prepare. They got 2 wide receivers here that they're going to have to make a move or do something with going forward. Brandon Ayuk's not going to be cheap. Debo's not going to be cheap. You got to make a move somewhere. They brought in Ricky Pearsall. They brought in Jacob Cowing. This is where it fits. This is a long-term play. This isn't a week 1 play. This is a long-term thing. And he fits the mold of what they want out of a wide receiver. Someone who can stretch the field. Someone they can move in the slot. Someone they can put on the outside. Very versatile, but very aggressive at the catch point and after the catch. This is a fit play for the 49ers. Of course, at value, there were a lot of other wide receivers on the board. They paid up to get their guy. They paid up. They got Ricky Pearsall. Niners fans love it. Niners fans are a fan of Ricky Pearsall. At least most of them are. A lot of people in the fantasy football community are wondering why. I figured out why. That doesn't mean it's the right decision, but I figured out why. He is the right fit for what Shanahan wants. An aggressive wide receiver, and they have contract disputes, negotiations, issues, whatever you want to call it, going forward, and they want the insurance policy. Could they have waited a little bit, got another wide receiver? Sure, but they handpicked their guy. Is he going to get a ton of touches and targets going forward? We shall see. He is a talented wide receiver. He does have some upside. But we got to see how everything pans out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.